Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome back to my channel. And look, if you enjoy football talk, football analysis, general sensible analysis and reaction and takes, but also like a bit of deep dive tactically, as well as discussing a range of topics, it is going to be some Cardiff City as well. But I do like to talk about other stuff on this channel too. But if you're looking for someone who's going to be shouting and screaming and playing a character, all the shit you see around the internet, this probably isn't a place for you. But if you want sensible takes, tactical analysis, intelligent conversations, then this is probably the place for you. Give it a subscribe, give it a like. But let's get into it, right? This is a question I think no one thought we'd be asking at the start of the season. Now, maybe we should have, because they finished 17th last year. But can Tottenham actually get relegated this year? Could they be playing their football in the Championship next season? Not another bad season, not they're in transition, but actually relegated. Because when you strip away the bad size, the new stadium, the history, the Premier League just doesn't care. And right now Spurs are hovering far closer to the relegation trapdoor than they have ever expected or been before. This isn't psychology. This is numbers, it's momentum, it's form. It's certainly not clickbait, because this is a real thing. And when you look at their run of games, you start to think. But let's get into it. So let's look at where Spurs actually are. They sit 16th. They're 5 points above the relegation zone. Now 5 points sounds comfortable, right? Until you remember that one bad week in the Premier League, one bad result, and it can all wipe that out instantly. One defeat, one rival win, suddenly that cushion evaporates. And when you look at their 2026 calendar form, it is ugly. When you look at their upcoming fixtures, it is poor. But when they've struggled for wins, their XG differential is negative. Their defensive transition number is concerning. They are conceding soft goals. They're vulnerable at set pieces. This isn't a top half wobble. This is a team lacking defensive cohesion, lacking rhythm in possession, lacking a bit of identity. Now, can the new manager bring that in? That remains to be seen. But how did they get here? Because the season started with optimism. Thomas Frank came in, the injuries ripped through the side, and I think that was the big difference. The back line had to be consistently rotated, filled with midfield players, which meant the midfield balance completely disappeared. The manager situation probably didn't help. I think obviously when you change mid-season, but Thomas Frank was having issues throughout the season with the players, with the fans, with the results. It wasn't great. A change of manager will always destabilise the structure, but make no mistake, before he was sacked, that's why he was sacked, is because they couldn't win. They were struggling, the pressing was all over the place, the distances between the midfield and the defence and the attacks is just ridiculous. That what once used to be a very tactically compact side, who were very good at the attacking bit, all of a sudden they're just not very good. They're conceding goals. Spurs have been so easy to play through this season for their opponents. Opponents are targeting them in the transition because they're so poor, especially down their channels. Their rest defence shape is all over the place, probably because Paulino's playing in defence. And then when that confidence drops, everything gets harder. Everything feels heavier. And I think when you look at some metrics that do worry me, in terms of will they get relegated, one of the worst defensive records in the bottom half, Spurs. Set piece concession rate, just above league average. Poor shot conversion in relative to their XG. Struggling to win those big 6-pointers against the sort of bottom half teams. And that last one is massive, because that is how teams end up surviving, is beating the teams around them. Survival isn't about beating the top 6. Survival isn't even about winning against Arsenal this weekend. Survival is about beating those teams in 17th, 18th, 19th. Spurs haven't done enough of that. They dominate spells of games, but they just have not got the ruthlessness in either box. And when you look at their running, You look at those fixtures remaining. They've got mid-table teams with nothing to lose. Yeah, maybe, but they've got direct relegation rivals, top of the top table teams who've got something to play for. They've got a lot of emotionally charged fixtures. They've got to play Liverpool. They've got to play Arsenal over the weekend. It's a big problem, and in a relegation scrap, the margins are microscopic. A single error, a single penalty, a late mistake, or equaliser conceded, and you are in a lot of trouble. Momentum could flip easily. A North London derby win today, live on Sky Sports, right? It's not just about rivalry, it's about Arsenal want to win the league, Spurs try not to get relegated. For Spurs, this game is massive. It's the new manager's first game. If they lose, especially at home, that psychological blow is huge, because you're pushing Arsenal more towards the title and you're pushing Spurs more towards relegation, and that relegation conversation ain't going to get any easier. You go and beat them, not only do you completely derail Arsenal's title reign or title push, but you also give that belief back into Spurs, that ignition, that emotional fuel to stay up. This derby this weekend is massive. A draw matters, but I think a point would be good for Spurs, not good for Arsenal. But Spurs cannot get spanked. They cannot get outplayed in every metric. They've got to do better. The shift in mentality from a win today for Spurs will be huge. The shift in mentality for Spurs to beat Arsenal in the North London derby could give them the belief, the momentum to play under this manager and to go and win some big fixtures to stay up, because that psychological factor is huge. Now here's the thing about relegation fights. They're rarely about quality. They're about nerve. They're about mentality. They're about attitude. They're about application. Do this Spurs squad have the mental steel to grind out ugly 1-0 wins? Can they win 3-2 instead of drawing 2-2? Can they win games where they shouldn't? Can they go to tough away grounds, accept the chaos and get a result? Can they defend deep for 20 minutes when they need to? Because survival football is about pragmatism, not about pretty football. Spurs are built historically on playing nice football but not really winning anything. Now is the time where they need to find a way to win. Doesn't matter how, they need to win football matches. Ugly, pretty, doesn't really matter. Just win. Spurs have got some talented players, but they got so many players out with injury. Relegation for them would be absolutely catastrophic. It would be momentous in terms of the Premier League for a big six side to get relegated, but Spurs in particular, with their new stadium, the wages, everything, the new paying Thomas Frank still, like getting relegated to the Championship would be absolutely catastrophic for this club. Can they get relegated? Well, mathematically they absolutely can. Is it probable? Not quite yet, but when you look at it and you look at the fixtures they've got, I think they're going to come a lot closer than people think. I've got a feeling personally that they'll do what Everton did a couple of years back, where they nearly got relegated, but they sort of just found enough late on. But there's a big lot of pressure on the new manager. He's got to make them win ugly, because if they can't find a way to win ugly, they are in deep trouble. And these players have not played under this amount of pressure before in terms of relegation, because it's not something they've been involved in. They still got a little bit of a points buffer. They've definitely got the quality. The home fans are going to have to stick with them, of course. But if the defensive fragility continues, the recklessness continues from individuals, if they fail to beat direct rivals around them in the table, the derby gets crushed at the weekend and the morale is difficult, the conversation is definitely going to stop being, could they really get relegated? And they are really going to get relegated, and it starts becoming real. Right now it's in Spurs' hand, but it won't be for long if they're not careful. Let me know what you think. Are they really in a relegation battle? Do you think Spurs will go down? Take a look at their fixtures and tell me, are we witnessing the unthinkable? Thank you so much. As always, please check out my video on our Arsenal bottling another Premier League video. a Premier League video, Premier League title, that's out shortly. And then we've also got a North London fast preview, 3 minutes, bang, 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 before the derby. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Nice one. This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.